Welcome to About Women for Women with Dr. Kamila. How to find balance and joy in perimenopause and beyond. We bring together psychology and biology, spirituality and science, personal stories and professional insights for the benefit of all. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Welcome everyone to the next episode of About Women for Women with Dr. Kamila. Today my guest is Olga Sedelini. Olga is a psychologist, life coach and astrologer. She brings two areas of expertise, astrology or astrocartography and psychology. By combining these fields, she helps women strengthen their self-confidence and cultivate a deep sense of personal power, allowing them to make difficult decisions more easily, achieve their goals, and turn their dreams into reality with greater clarity and confidence. Olga, very warm welcome.
Welcome and thank you for invitation.
I had a reading with you and I was so blown away by the way you describe astrology and specifically astrocartography that I invited you to this podcast because I had several readings with different astrologers, specifically astrocartography readings. None of them have resonated with me as much as your reading did. And I'm wondering if it is because you are also a psychologist and the way you describe things, describe the traits, the archetypes, the transits, has also like a therapeutic feel to it, that you can tune in more to how the person may find it easier to understand what you're trying to convey with astrology.
Thank you. It's normal for me. I do it, but I'm not thinking about how I do it. It's a kind of intuition or I don't know, maybe psychologist.
It looks like it just comes naturally to you to explain things in such an easy to understand way. So I was very, very happy with that. So before we get into astrology and astrocartography, I would like to know something that I ask every guest on this podcast. What has perimenopause looked like for you personally? Has it brought up something? Has it changed something in your own life? Or maybe it came to you through the experiences of your clients?
Honestly, I don't notice a significant difference, because in my well-being or body functions. Maybe because I've always paid attention to my body, how I feel. Since I'm beginning my studies, I've been exercising very regular, consistently at the gym. I observe my body, I keep my diet, so I don't feel changes because I think I'm such connected with my body and know myself. I follow what my body asking me, and I don't notice the moment when it starts.
What I can say is that you are probably one of the very few women that may not have such a bad experience through perimenopause, because I know you and I know that you are very healthy. You look after your body, you exercise regularly, you look after your diet. When I work with people, with women, I tell them that the healthier they are and the more balanced is their nervous system entering the period where the perimenopause symptoms can start, the less likely it is that they will have it badly. That because the body is in balance, so it's not such a shock when those hormones drop. So I know that you are a very healthy person. So I think that will pay off now in the years to come, in your 40s and 50s and beyond.
Yes, I think that's the reason, because I take regular care of myself since I was graduating my study school.
And what about women that you work with? What about your clients? Does perimenopause come up in the conversation, or like problems that are typical for perimenopause? Do women come to you and kind of, is it even mentioned in your consultation?
Yes, and I think this the field which is very very often mentioned now, and it's popular, and women talk about it more than
Years ago. So for anyone who has never heard the term astrocartography, how it is different from astrology, because most people are familiar with astrology.
Astrocartography is a branch of astrology that deals with relocation and analyze horoscopes in various locations around the world. And we are changing locations. Energy of the planets that influence us also changes. Thanks to relocation astrology, we can predict and plan where we will feel good or where we will not. That means we analyze how the planetary alignment will change in other locations around the world to support us in various areas. And we calculate horoscope based on our personal details, time, date, place of birth.
Astrology is more fixed, while astrocartography is related to influence of a particular place, so that the experiences of living in the place where we born will be different to experience of living in a place where we relocate to.
Yes, astrology is a broad field, and we usually begin with natal astrology, which is about decoding specific birth energy. And thanks to this, we can learn about our talents, predispositions, personality, career path, health, everything, every field in our life. Astrocartography goes a little further and shows where on Earth the energy will support us. So this is a specific part of astrology, but I think it's very helpful, yes, in our lives.
If I understand this correctly, with the astrology and natal chart, we have no choice. We were born there. While with astrocartography, we can design the experiences we want to have in our life by choosing to live in a different place, or choosing to go on holiday, or kind of connect with the energy of that place. Correct?
Yes, correct. Because the date or time we can change, and place we cannot change either, but we can simulate another place and look at the energies of the planets, and we can move, for example, to the place where the energy supports us.
You bring together psychology and astrology in your work, in your individual consultations. So how those two worlds came together for you? How did it happen, and how do they inform each other?
It was a long way, but it came to me very naturally. I graduated with a degree in psychology, and while working in a corporation for many years, I knew deep down that psychology was my field and has fascinating me. When I returned to my profession, helping people with their daily challenges or crises, I felt I could more precisely guide them through the processes, using various methods of working with subconscious mind or unconscious records. So I explored Reiki energies, the Akashic records, the law of attraction, and until astrology finally came along. Because I read something about planets, that planets affect us and people act like planetary energy leads. And it touched me. I have started to read more about astrology. And I scheduled an astrology session with my present mentor. And when I heard about myself, I fell in love with astrology and felt like it was a piece of a puzzle I've been missing all the time. And since then, I've been learning every day and practicing in my daily work with my clients, because in my opinion, astrology complements psychology. They say astrology is a psychologist's older sister. For example, Hippocrates valued astrology and used this knowledge in his daily work. Later, Carl Gustav Jung, the same, created a theory of personality based on astrology. Astrology, for me, reveals directions, themes, connections, causes. It reveals our personality, family connections, how you build relationships, and so on. While psychology provides tools for transforming unfavorable or patterns, behavioral patterns. So I think they are complementary.
I love astrology too, and it helped me many times in my life, and I will go into that in a moment, especially at difficult times. And I have many astrology readings. There was a time in my life when I had a reading every 6 months, but I have discovered astrocartography only recently, only like maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, already after moving to Greece. Can you explain in like plain terms what is Saturn return? And are there any implications of this transit for women around late 30s, early 40s?
For everyone who doesn't know what Saturn is, it's a planet of time, of karma. It's like a strict teacher. And Saturn return is simply when the planet return to its natal position after circling the entire zodiac. And meaning it's one full cycle. And Saturn orbits the entire zodiac for approximately 29.5 years. So its return occurs around 30. In everyday's life, translates into important decision making. All aspects of Saturn, squares, oppositions, mark key moments in our lives. When we have first quadrature, we start school. It's 7 years. Then opposition, it's secondary school. We have 14, and we have teenage rebellion and search for authority. And the birthday, our birthday, is often crucial. For example, I got married at that time, and then I divorced very quick. These are often the events that change our situation and our social standing. Saturn is a planet responsible for, among other things, our social status, how we climb career ladder. It seems like a difficult planet. If you follow, it will bring you benefits, enormous benefits. Even so later, because this is a planet of time, and it requires time and patience. It brings us sometimes difficult experiences, but we need them.
We have to kind of experience them. We have to go along. We have to, and I think one astrologer many years ago told me that it's really important to collaborate with Saturn. To, you know, same with Uranus, but we'll talk about Uranus in a moment. To kind of, when the transit starts, to kind of do things, not try to go against it, because that, you know, we literally have no choice but to take the lessons, because they will, you know, they will transform our life. So we can have it either easy way or hard way. And if we collaborate with the planets, our experience of life will be easier and maybe even richer.
Because it's a teacher, strict teacher.
Yes, he's a teacher. Yes, strict teacher. Discipline, like teaches us discipline and commitment, and well, at least in my natal chart, that was the experience, and I have struggled all my life with being disciplined. I have periods of life where I do things consistently. I hold good habits, routines, and so on, and then something happens and it disappears. So I know it is also I mean, there are other influences, but I know it's related to Saturn. So I think I have learned, and I'm still learning, to collaborate with him.
With him and with yourself.
It's an aspect of me. It's like a personality aspect. That's actually how I understand astrology, that these are certain archetypes. And if a certain planet is transiting through our chart, through our life, let's say, then certain qualities, certain traits, certain kind of behaviors or archetypes have more influence on us, and they can be more visible or more expressed in us, even though it may not be something that is typical for our behavior, but in that particular time we may behave in this way. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yes, exactly. It goes that way because when we have transits of planets, every planet, we experience different situation which we have to experience. But in this time, it's more visible. You have to learn something, you have to change something, you have to start something. Every planet has its own meaning. Saturn is a teacher, maybe Uranus is a kind of
Rebellion, yes. He just brings unexpected events. There is one planet. I cannot remember how long are the Neptune transits, but I seem to have a very, very long Neptune transit. And I remember when it started for me, all of a sudden I was interested in all the esoteric things, in astrology, in Akashic records, in psychedelics, in all those kind of things, and that was very important part of my life, because before that I was very much evidence-based, psychologist, scientific person, and working in the NHS. And when it started, with the transit, it kind of like dissolved everything. Like I saw a different dimension to life, to the reality. I started exploring parts within me that earlier were not, I was not even interested in so much. And that has enriched my practice as a clinical psychologist enormously. So without that transit, I don't know if we would be doing this. I don't know if I would have even, had astrology consultations and astrocartography and gene keys and human design, so many other things. Did something similar happen in your life?
I think it touched more people, not only us, because Neptune is a planet more generational. So it transit through one sign 14 years. And when it touched the sign, for example, last time it was Pisces, our sign connected with spirituality. And that's why we started to develop our spirituality and learning, knowing.
So that was the transit I was referring to, because it finished recently, hasn't it? At least for my sign, it finished very recently. I'm a
Yes, here.
Sagittarius. And I feel like since then, I am going back to my kind of science focused, or maybe more science centered practice. So I am digging out, the notes from functional medicine. I'm going back to working with women, with hormones, with the body, with physiology, reading research. So, and I have moved away from like doing Akashic records, because I had been offering Akashic records reading, and it was so unusual for a clinical psychologist to do that. But I had that offering on my website. I still do, for example, psychedelic preparation and integration, but I no longer do the sessions. I only prepare people to help them do it safely. It really like changed the way I practice.
And because now Neptune entered Aries sign, and Aries is about
Yes.
body, about doing, and physical field. So it's interesting in your life how it manifests.
Yes, yes. I had a consultation with you, so I know that now is the time that, and that is the reason why I asked about Saturn as well, because now is the time that I need to be more disciplined. I need to keep good health routines. I need to be more organized. I need to be conscientious and systematic in what I do at work, in my business, and so on. And I really feel it. I struggled with that most of my life, but now somehow it's happening. I'm doing it. I know that some people don't believe in astrology, but I think it's a big science that has been used by emperors and kings and, like powerful people throughout the history to help to understand what's happening and how to navigate the reality. So I have great respect for astrology and astrocartography.
Now I changed my opinion.
Let's move to Uranus.
Okay.
And Uranus for me is even more interesting. So Uranus transit happens to come around late 30s and early 40s, I think, for most of women, at least if I understand, but please correct me if not. And what is this one about, and how it differs from Saturn return?
Uranus is a planet of innovation, future, freedom, a generational planet. And it takes 84 years to pass through the zodiac. So we often don't have the opportunity to experience Uranus return. But like you mentioned, Saturn and Uranus bring us change. And just as Saturn passes through a quarter of horoscope, Uranus transits one sign during this time. For example, at age 42, like you asked, it's a halfway through Uranus cycle, meaning it's in opposition to his natal position.
So it's on the other side of the horoscope.
Yes.
So let's say we started here, it has already been halfway through the whole horoscope. So in 84 years, it would go the whole cycle, but it's on the other side, exactly opposite where it was where we were born.
Yes. And we might then completely change something in our lives. For example, I quit my job and started my own
Yes.
business. I didn't know that was about Uran, but it just happened. While with Saturn, it moves from position around age 44, is in opposition to his natal position. So 42 and 44 are these years when we change, something happen to us. So this period about 40 is a time of change, of revaluation, of making important decisions, and sometimes life's upheavals, because Uranus is a planet of revolution. It likes push us out of our comfort zone, and we not just have to, start building our lives in harmony with ourselves, because this is
It's for our good. It's like it's beneficial to us.
Yes, the goal is always good. So, and for our good. And also, there is Jupiter, and the cycles of Saturn and Jupiter also overlap, and with Uranus. So, about 42, and 44 are the periods of our lives when something is going upside down, something changes, we have to change something, and we need to change something.
And funny enough, this is the time when many women start with perimenopause. So I tell my clients that perimenopause is time of change, reinvention, new directions, freedom, and revolution in your life by design. I say them that this is by design, that in your birth chart it already shows that at the age of 40, 42, 44 you will be changing. You cannot avoid it. And if you try to avoid it, it will catch up with you anyway. So one astrologer that I had work with many years ago told me that Uranus has this capacity to align us, like with the life that we are meant to live, like from the soul point of view, from the soul evolution. That if something is not aligned with what we are meant to be doing in this lifetime, Uranus will destroy it, will blow it away. So if we are in a job that is not good for us and we cannot grow and develop and do something, then we will lose this job, or I don't know, the company will get burned down, or something else will happen that will just not be able to continue with this. So he told me that if the Uranus transit starts, it's best to cooperate with it at the beginning. Then we can gain more benefits from that particular transit rather than avoid, because it will do its job, and by the end of it, it will come in a not so nice way if we don't do it. Would you agree with that?
Yes, because it's planets that turn our lives upside down. And when we know that Uranus will be transiting our
Our planet.
we can do something first. So when you see that you have an aspect of Uranus, and you can choose what you want to change.
So you can choose what you're going to change, because Uranus brings change, but you can decide what this change will involve. Is this what you're trying to say?
Yes, because sometimes we think about changes for a lot of time. Oh, I have to change this. Oh, but not now. I'll wait. And sometimes we are waiting for years. And when Uranus is going to pass our planet, for example, Uranus or another planet, this is the time when we can do it. It's a good moment to make this change.
So Uranus is supporting us in making that change, if we decide to do it in that particular time, and we may have struggled to make that change before the transit of Uranus starts.
Yes, because Uranus is a planet, like you said, for our good. So everything Uranus changes is in our lives. It's for our good, for our development, for doing something which is connected with your soul. You don't have to be afraid of this transits because it's really necessary.
If a woman is in the middle of these transits, around age 40, let's say. So there is Uranus transit, there is Saturn transit, there is Jupiter coming along as well, you said, because it coincides. And everything is shaken up at once in her life. What would you want her to understand about what is happening, astrologically speaking? What would you like her to remember about all this? Because she might be struggling when everything is changing all at once, and she haven't heard of astrology, and she doesn't know that it's kind of by design, and that it's in her favor, that she doesn't know it. So what would you like her to know?
It's an invitation from energy to stop and reflect on ourselves. I think it's very necessary to check the way, the goal, the purpose, because we spend our lives chasing something, someone. We are responsible for everything, for everyone. And we often leave ourselves when we have crisis or situation. For example, there's a transit and we have to change something is going on, we don't like the situation, but it invites us to stop and to look at this and why does it happen, what can I change.
So it's an invitation to self-reflect, to reconsider things, to kind of do some evaluation of what our goals are in life, maybe what is important to us, and we can use this time to really redesign our life. If we take time to stop and think about it, then we can kind of move forward with new purpose, or with new direction.
Yes, I see it in that way. Because everything is about awareness, and planets provides this experience through the energies we feel in this moment. So it's a time to reflect, like you said, and it's everything. It happened for us, not to us, just for us.
To us, exactly. It is the time, 40s. It is the time, late 30s, 40s, late 40s. It's the time when many women go through breakups, go through relocations or kind of major career changes, in their life. So it is often happening at that time. I mean, like the rates of divorces are the highest for women between 45 and 55. So it's not that it has anything to do with astrology. I mean, astrology explains it, but it's a fact that this is the time when women go through a lot of changes. So how astrocartography can support a woman who is navigating this kind of upheaval?
Astrology and astrocartography, but astrology itself can certainly help because it reveals causes, cycles, relationships. And if you know the reason for a given situation in our lives, it's easier to navigate it. And we both know this from experience. It shows us consequences of what we've done, the decisions we've made, the consequences which are now, And I think the astrology gives us peace of mind, and it's very important. Also, give us solutions for that situation because you know what to do, because our brain needs it and need to have control. Yes, and when you have control. Astrocartography also can be very helpful because when we change the place when we live or we can go to another place, we can feel different energy and we can support us in difficult situations, and we can feel much better than in the place we are living now, for example. When you change place, you change energy which affect us.
Is it okay to say that when in that moment, when a woman will go on holiday, let's say, or will kind of move to a different place, then she will get the flavor of a different side to her life, to her personality, or how things can be, and then maybe she can decide to relocate there. Is it fair to say?
She can relocate, go on vacation, or just watching pictures from that place, just to connect with energy of the place. Because energy is like a water. When we are in the water, you feel the water. So you are cold or you're hot or you are feel in different way in different water. So the same in the energy in the air, for example. We don't see it, but we feel it. When we change place, every city, every country has its own energy, different energy. And for us, the energy is also different because everyone has a special constellation of the planet and energy connected with these planets, which affect us in special way. So when we change place, changes energies. It's very helpful to change the place we are living or we are staying, for example, for just a while, not just we have to move. It is helpful for our health, thinking about ourselves, our lives, about everything.
Change is healthy in general. It enriches us.
Everything, yes.
Yes, I really like the metaphor that you have shared about the water, that energy of different places changes with those planets kind of impacting different places. And that is like a water, because I was just imagining it as you were speaking, that standing in a lake will feel different and I will behave differently when I'm in a lake than if I'm in a sea that is rough, that is moving me, that is kind of powerful. I will feel different when I'm in a pouring rain, and I will feel different if there is just like a little tiny little droplets or maybe just a mist because there is a waterfall somewhere and I can feel it gently touching my skin. It will make me feel different and it will make me behave differently. It will soften me or it will harden me or it will. This metaphor I have never heard being used before, but I love it. To me, to my mind, it really well translates or conveys how the energy of the place impacts us, because we are still the same person,
but in different environment we will feel differently and we will behave differently. So I will definitely remember your metaphor. Thank you, Olga. That was brilliant.
My last stay in Colombia was very strange because I felt there different than in Poland. I knew that something will be easy, okay? Something about house, about some wounds. I just forget it, but I didn't feel well there. And I didn't know what was going on. And then I just remembered what I read in my chart and I understood everything. There was energy which affected me in my feeling. For example, I lost my sense of security there, and it was strange.
The way the place was influencing you was making you feel insecure.
Yeah.
And someone with a different birth chart in the same place will not feel it because they will have a different birth chart. So the planets will affect them differently.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I remember once going to Cyprus. Cyprus is not that big, but I have different planets impacting me on the east side and on the west side. And I remember when I went to Paphos and I thought it was awful. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I didn't like it at all. And then I went to Larnaca, which is on the other side of Cyprus, and everything was flowing. I met someone there and he was taking me to places, he was taking me to restaurants and for trips, and I felt so much in my feminine. And later I found out that I have a Venus line going through that eastern side of Cyprus. So everything was easy. He was paying for everything, but it wasn't like this in Paphos and in the western side of Cyprus. And if I later didn't find out about the astrocartography, because that was before I knew about astrocartography, it wouldn't make sense. I would just put it down to like, okay, I met this guy, but actually I don't think it was just about this guy. I think it was about the energy of the place or different kind of water in which I was swimming on the east side compared to the west side. Some women in perimenopause are navigating problems with anxiety and depression. That is a fact, again, unrelated to astrology. However, is there, in your opinion, a way that astrology or astrocartography can somehow support a woman through that period, support in navigating that kind of thing? Like, it helped me personally. I was going through a very difficult divorce, and it was dragging and dragging, and I couldn't. There were lots of obstacles happening. Two of my lawyers have died. One, and then I found a new lawyer, and 6 months later, another lawyer died, and then another 3 months later, another one said they cannot represent me. It was like honestly, I felt like, oh my God, is the whole world against me? But then I had astrology reading. Astrologer then explained to me that I had a Saturn transiting, and he said, like, Kamila, just let go. For another 18 months, you are not going to do it, okay? Just accept it. There will be just things against, because Saturn is a planet that likes to keep the structure, and at the moment, it will not let you break that structure. So for me, it wasn't directly related to my depression or the mood that I was in, but it definitely helped me have a different perspective on it and not feel so helpless. That was my personal experience. But is there any kind of example that you can share from your life, from your practice, or in general, say how astrology can help women if they are struggling with anxiety or depression that is coming up in this particular period of life?
I think we've already mentioned it, that it's crucial for our mind to know. The brain wants to be in control. If we can learn where our life situation stem from, we can manage them. And this brings us a peace. So On the other hand, I think that depression or anxiety or general feeling of being lost or burned stems from following not our own path, keeping distance from ourselves. Understanding this, looking at our lives from different perspectives, can provide enormous relief and solutions. Astrology or astrocartography helps in that way. Because astrology is our personal map, and we get lost in our lives. We are looking at it, and it's helpful. I see it in this way. From my life, in astrology chart, the situations, and I see it, and I know why they are take place in that time. It makes me easier to go through the situations. When I'm talking to my clients, this is the same situation. Always is, okay, I know. So this is really, it brings relief.
I agree with what you're saying, that depression is basically a time in our life when we go off the course. Like we are not doing something we're meant to do, or we are not living the life that we are meant to be living, or that we are in a job or in a relationship that doesn't allow us to be who we really are. And depression happens almost like a message from our soul or from core self to our consciousness that you are on the wrong path. So if we know from astrology reading, for example, like what is our path, then we can adjust, we can kind of correct the course of our life, and we can see the period of depression or anxiety or other kind of mental health problems as a blessing, as a gift, as an opportunity to shift, to kind of align with who we are meant to be. Another question about solar return travel. So I asked you when we met specifically to tell me where would be good for me to spend my birthday. My birthday is on the 21st of December, and I usually go away and spend it somewhere because it's so close to Christmas. I don't want to just celebrate every year with Christmas. So I travel. And I asked you where to go. So please explain to the people to the women that are listening, what is solar return and why it can be particularly helpful. Choose a place to spend your birthday in.
The moment of our birth is important because it determines the alignment of the planets that influence and shapes us in a very specific way. And the sun is important because sun is our core. It represents our deep identity, talents, life mission, inner light. If sun returns to its natal position, for me, it's a kind of reset of the system, so we can reprogram ourselves. And every year, the planets are in slightly different place because they also move at the different rates. So create different configurations. And that's why we can give ourselves a beautiful birthday gift and spend this time of the sun return in a place.
We will get charged with the good energy or the energy that we want to invite into our life.
Yes. And to adjust to our needs in this moment. For example, we need to meet someone, or we need to make career, or more money or something, and we can change the energy of the planets in this special day to fit all the year. The birth energy of the return of the sun is our birthday, another birthday. So we can create all year with this energy.
So it's like rebooting computer, like when computer gets stuck, we press reset button and that kind of starts it afresh. So when we do it in a particular location on our birthday, when the sun is returning to the natal position in our chart, then we are charging ourselves with with the energy of that particular location and bring that energy to the next year of our life.
Yes, we are reprogramming ourselves.
Yes, we are reprogramming our life. If a woman feels completely depleted, for example, if she feels depleted or kind of tired of her life or kind of lost in her life, then if she chooses to go on holiday to a particular location and it happens to be on her birthday, then it can help her find herself again. Or it can help her maybe develop her business or find love or start kind of having more healthy routines. Whatever the thing is that she wants to invite in her life, if she does it on her birthday in the location that has those qualities for her chart, then she can do. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes, of course, it's a very good, wonderful idea to change place for a while, because place affects us because of this energy. So sometimes we spend entire life in the place when we doesn't feel good. We get sick, for example, or don't feel well. We have financial problems. So when we go somewhere on our birthday and we have possibility to change this energy and make our life better, so I think it's a very good idea.
I agree with you. So this year, I'm going to try to go to Canada because you suggested that that would be really, I mean, you gave me 4 different options where I could relocate, but some of them are a bit further than others. I mean, like there is no option that is super close anyway, but Canada, I think what I'm planning to do, I'm planning to go on holiday somewhere nice because Canada in the winter is not going to be my kind of destination. But I'm going to go on holiday somewhere nice in December and come back, have like a stopover in Canada for my birthday for, I don't know, 2-3 days before I come back to Europe. So that is the plan. I haven't decided yet where I'm going to go in December, but I decided to put it to test what you suggested to me and see what qualities will come into my life next year because of that. So if we do this episode again in a year's time, I will be able to report.
Okay, super.
If someone cannot travel at the moment or like for whatever reason, I don't know, kids, finances, obligations and so on, is there any kind of smaller, like everyday kind of way for them to use the power of astrology or astrocartography, even staying in the place where they are living?
Of course, you don't have to go to the place. It's enough to connect with this place in an energetic way. You may look at pictures from that place, for example, in Google, or ask someone to bring you something from that country or city. But you have to not only just looking, you have to connect with the place. So you have to feel the energy of this place. For example, my place, the best place for my career is Munich, and I have pictures from the city, and I look at it and connect energetically because now I can go there. It's very and I will do it, but now I don't have possibility.
In the meantime, you are connecting with it by just surrounding yourself with those.
Kind of way to do it.
I remember when you did my astrocartography chart, and you said that one of the places that will be good for me business wise and any other areas as well was Solomon Islands. Solomon Islands are pretty far away. It's like when I checked, it takes 3 days to get there. I thought, okay, I cannot afford time wise and money wise at the moment to go to Solomon Islands. So I started listening to music from Solomon Islands. I looked at the pictures because it looks like a paradise on earth, really. I started reading about Solomon Islands. I started doing what you suggested to connect with the energy since we had our consultation. And I think really something has shifted in my business because things are flowing more easily. I am more organized. I am more, I think organized is the best way. I have a plan. I have a schedule. I feel like things have started really flowing with my assistant and with the person who does my website. There is truth to that. I can testify.
And funny is that the best place in my birthday is Solomon Islands,
As well.
this year. Yes.
So if you know someone who can bring something from that place, ask them to bring two things. I
Okay.
will pick it up later from you. Because it's like it's so far away that I don't even know personally anyone who has been to Solomon Islands. I would love to have, I don't know, some beads or shells or something from there, but I don't even know where to get it. Last question. What would you like a woman listening to this podcast take away from our conversation today? Like, what would you like them to walk away with?
Every moment in our life is important, and the most difficult ones brings the greatest transformation
Yes.
and lead us to inner happiness and peace. So sometimes it's hard, difficult, but it's worthy. For example, consulting with the astrologer and see our chart, very helpful in this our journey because it helps us to understand. It's very important to have this explanation and to know what I have to do.
Okay, so this is the last message that you want women to remember from this conversation. Thank you, Olga. I agree with you, and I am so happy I had a consultation with you, and I recommend you to my friends and my clients. I look forward to doing this again in a year's time and telling you about how this next year has been for me. So thank you for today, and see you next time. And if you watching this think that this conversation could help someone, please send it to another woman and help spread the information. Okay, thank you.